Hey guys, Ducktown here. Thanks for getting me to 50 subscribers. It really means a lot. So we're going to break this into two things. Part 1 is going to be a rant on... yeah. Yay! Part 2 is going to involve something live action, is going to have news on my series. So then, since this is part 1, we may as well get started. Pony Power Go! So, Sweet Apple Massacre. It's actually worse than Cupcakes. The reason this is actually not a hard thing to answer, but it does require some back knowledge. First, I'll start off with my knowledge of the dark side of the MLP fandom and how I acquired it. After a few months of being an MLP fan, I started to take a look at fanfics and discovered the bad ones in the process. After some analysis, I declared An Evening with His Favorite Princess to be the worst fan story in the fandom. And about 2 weeks later, Eating Out became my most hated fan story. Then Scat Symphony, which I made a video on but took down when I found Smile HD. Then I found Cupcakes the animation. But now, I think I have found the worst popular fan story. Not the worst ever. I mean, there's probably still worse, but the worst popular. Bronies talk about it. Unless Butterflies Awake or Grimdark's Halloween special with that weird looking scaly pony that talks to the other ponies like it's some sort of grimdark story. It has that weird pinkish white. I don't know. But whatever. So unless those are worse, I haven't seen any of them yet, but if they're worse, then they're worse, and I'll probably do a rant on them too, but this one is still abysmal. I'll check them out maybe when I could get 100 subs, so not too soon. With that being said, let's move on to the writers. Although the writers were anonymous, I have a big hunch to who wrote it. And there seems to be a good deal of proof. Firstly, there's realistic child prostitution. Gee, that sounds a lot like Beatbox 998's masterpiece, An Evening with His Favorite Princess. Yeah, so maybe he helped write this. And we also have tons of blood, guts, decapitation, and bloody organs and gore. Hello, Mr. Davy. I knew you hadn't trampled on the show enough. So nice of you to possibly be writing this. Possibly. Wanted to get revenge on fanfic.net for taking down your Smile fanfic? Well, it backfired because this one got taken off there too. We also have realistic pain and the tortured victims pleading to the abuser. It's a Vanillman classic. Way to go! Finally, there's disgustingly and disturbingly creative sexual torture. Okay, I know Dr. Renegade wrote this one. The others might have, but Dr. Renegade is the only YouTuber who I've ever seen who does this. Well, now that we have writers out of the way, we can move on to the story. We started out with a picture of Big Mac and Applejack from Applebuck season. I could complain about them being too lazy to actually animate their fan story, but it's better than having to see what I saw in Cupcakes. So we learned that Big Mac hates Applejack after outdoing him in apple harvesting in Applebuck season. Okay, did the writers just pull up this picture and just think of the first thing that came to their heads? Did they just get this done as fast as possible so they can move on to the torture plot? Anyway, so we find out that Big Mac has somehow captured the CMC. I'm not exactly sure how, but he did. And then he unties them and tells them they're going to pay for being kids. Yeah, you heard it right. For being kids, he's going to punish them and possibly kill them. Really? They're kids. Like once you were dipspit. So he tells them they're going to never tell Applejack about any of this, and then he'll let them go. And he tells them if they make any noise, he'll cut out their tongues. Okay. So Scoodle and Sweetbo do what any normal kid would do in that sort of situation, cower and tear. Apple Bloom, however, once cut free, shouts at him that she's going to tell Applejack that he terrorized them. What the H? She was about to let you go, dang it. So Big Mac cuts out her tongue. So what's the best thing you can do? Well, you have two options. You can either run away as he's occupied with tongue extraction and maybe get away, or you can do what he says and possibly save face or tongue and whatever. But that's not what they do. They start calling out for help and Scootaloo stands up to him. Okay, if you thought the CMC were stupid in the Showstoppers, you'll probably think half their brain was removed in this. Well, instead of cutting out Scootaloo's tongue, he mixes apple balloons with the puke and makes Scootaloo eat it. Well, that's the gross eating fetish part out of the way. Then he dislocates one of her wings so she can't fly away and rapes her. Great! Fantastic! Oh, what's that? He's a snide a-hole about it? Vanillin shines through again! Then he makes Sweetie Belle shove her horn up Scootaloo's beehole. Great freaking tastic. And he tells her not to stop or she'll die. Great. Kid homosexuality. Just what I wanted to see. And actually, no, he doesn't tell her to stop. He just walks away and they keep doing it. Now, I know Apple Bloom, who he had left alone, couldn't run away because she's still in shock from what had just happened. And Scootaloo might be in shock after being force-fed the most gross thing ever. But Sweetie Belle literally could have gotten away at any time. And no, it wasn't because Sweetie Belle was in shock. If that was the case, she wouldn't have tried to get away later! So then he gives Apple Bloom the Scootaloo treatment, minus having Scootaloo shove her horn up her a-hole. Okay, what? Child prostitution with your little sister's best friend is already crossing the line. Too many boundaries. But incest. Incest? Who made this? Who gave this video that many thumbs up? That's not okay. I mean, the tongue thing by itself was already grosser than clop's, but now they're apparently found a way to make clop worse than that. Well, then Big Mac beats up her face until she gets a nosebleed and loses all her teeth. Great to know. I just needed to be reminded that this is messed up. Thanks, writers. I just needed to be... And then we get to the worst part. Big Mac is tired of having incest, and it causes abuse, so he literally decapitates Apple Bloom, and after she's dead, he still continues incest. I'm taking a break. Viewers, please process what you've heard. I'm back. When I actually find the writer for this, I'm going to find the Mental Institute, if I can find out who wrote this. But I have my suspicions, so Big Mac comes back to Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle. Scootaloo is in a lot of pain, and Sweetie Belle is scared. So Big Mac thinks about what to do next. Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle don't still try to run away. He was not even... Finally, he gets out a knife and literally rips Scootaloo in half after making her eat a mixture of the following. I am never eating anything again except for paste. Then he looks over to Sweetie Belle. After she sees him looking at her, she tries to run away. Why didn't you run away when he was hacking out your friend's tongue? Or when he was ripping your other friend apart? Or when he was making her eat the most revolting mixture ever? You know what? I'm done with this. I am done. Oh, and there's one more part. Applejack comes down and she gets killed. I don't even... And that was Sweet Apple Massacre. Surprisingly, the title didn't actually have much to do with... I mean, there was a massacre, but, like, you would think that, like, the whole Apple family got killed or something, but one of them is the killer, so that literally doesn't make any sense. So, I really don't have anything to say. This story was abysmal. I mean, Cupcakes was bad, but at least I understood why it existed. It existed because people wanted to do their creepy little, like, science freakish things. But, plus, Pinkie Pie actually had a reason to kill Rainbow Dash, even though it wasn't the most absurd reason ever. In this, Big Mac just wants to kill them because they're kids. That's just moronic. So see you guys. Join me next time when we do something a lot more enjoyable.